Hey, Gabriel.
Hey, Gaybros, Jose.
Where are we today?
Today we are recording from the L&L Bar in Lakeview, Chicago. Did I say all of that correctly?
Most of it. you actually get some words right.
All right.
Is it L&L Tavern?
L&L Tavern.
Yeah, no matter. Yeah.
The creepiest bar in America, supposedly.
Supposedly. I think that there is a bit of an exaggeration here. I mean, it's a dive bar, but this is not that bad, you know?
It's a cool bar, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there is even like 5 patrons.
Wow. I've never seen it this busy, and there's a bartender
Today,
which is not always guaranteed.
Well, yesterday we also had a bartender here. Okay. So what did we watch this time?
This was my pick.
You almost said I force you.
No. I didn't have a strong point of view last week, and so together we brainstormed and we decided, since we watched The Favorite, Yorgos Lanthimos has a new film coming out that we should revisit, Dogtooth, the 2009 Cannes Film Festival darling.
Yep, but it didn't win the Palme d'Or. It was only a certain regard.
I don't remember.
No. It says at the opening, like the version that I saw, it says like a certain regard winner.
It won the Uncertain Regard, and it was nominated for Best Foreign Language Film at the Oscars, but did not win. I told you incorrectly earlier.
Oh, that's fair. Why did you pick this? It was only because of the. Because you didn't pick The Lobster.
Which is interesting, because I love The Lobster, and now I love The Favorite. I don't know. Lately in the podcast, we've been interested in re-examining films
that we
liked maybe 2, 3, 4, 10 years ago. And and I remember, honestly, weirdly, my mom is very sensitive to weird stuff in film. I was very disturbed by Dogtooth, and she loved it. Which was
I'm shocked about that.
Very confusing.
Everything is fucking weird in that movie.
It's so weird.
I mean, in a good way, but it's interesting. So your mother really liked it back then?
She did in 2009. I don't know how she would feel about it today, but
so
she recommended it to me.
With her?
No. We watched this separate, and she's like, "Have you seen Dogtooth?" And I knew about it, and I was going to watch it, but I hadn't yet.
Yeah, I went to watch it with my partner all the time. I think that I told you that the way that I educated myself was through cinema program that they used to have in public television in Spain, and they used to just mention all international cinema there. But the other thing, it was about a bar owner that we used to go every week, and he used to have a blog about cinema. So he used to recommend me, but he was more classical Hollywood style. So in this TV show, they actually recommended Dogtooth. So I was dating this guy from Barcelona, and we went to the cinema once, and he said, "Oh my God, they are playing Dogtooth. I need to watch this film." And I remember like just the movie finishing, and I was with my mouth wide open. I was like, "Holy shit, this movie has been incredible." And his reaction was like, "This was as dumb as it gets. I just wasted 2 hours of my life." And at that point, I felt like, I think that I've been wasting a year of my life. I think that I never had like this clear sign out from the universe, you know.
So Yorgos Lanthimos held up a mirror to your relationship, and you didn't like what you saw.
I didn't like what I saw. I thought, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm looking at the wrong stuff right now." It's like, I want someone that I can enjoy a movie like this.
So are you still with him?
I'm definitely not.
No, okay, you broke up.
we broke up some time ago. Sometime later after this. I think that it was between this and the. I think that I told you about this, the Clint Eastwood movie about love after death.
Oh yes. Oh God.
And that it was the opposite. That he was like with his mouth open when he was sober, and I was like, "This was pretty bad. This was awkwardly bad." The guy that did The Unforgiven made this.
It's amazing that like something that little can really cause you to like, what is wrong with this person I'm with?
Yeah, it's more like just silently, like just looking, like doing like a side look about like, is this guy sane? Is that this is not good? Is that you have to have problems for actually enjoying something like that? And then we talk about it, and it's a bit more about like how emotionally you can connect to different stuff, you know, like good cinema.
Well, I mean, Clint Eastwood is a very manipulative director, in my opinion. He really likes to just pull at your emotions for cheap payoffs, and I think that's what that film does a lot.
I think so. On that, I agree. But yes, this was a big haste that I have to summarize it to some extent.
Oh yeah, if you want, I have the Wikipedia page pulled up. It's actually surprisingly long.
I'm going to do something shorter. You know, it's like we don't get too much exposition. There is zero exposition. You figure out things along the way. So I'm going to go to just describe what is happening. So if someone hasn't watched it, let's stop here. I think that it's worth it to just watch the movie directly. But the story follows three kids. They're probably in their mid-20s.
Yeah, I would say probably like between 18 and 25 for sure. All three.
Yeah, and there are two girls and a woman, and two girls and one guy, and they live with their parents in a house in Greece. We don't know exactly where, but it's in the country field.
It's more like a compound, like it's completely fenced.
It's not really a compound, it's just like their house, a single family house that is completely fenced. That's pretty common in Europe, honestly. So they have their swimming pool, they have their garden, and
it's a very nice house.
It's a really nice house. And from the beginning, we see that they are being homeschooled, but they don't have any influence from the outside world. So they are trained what words mean, but those words, they say it's like, hey, I see he's an archer. So they change the meaning of some of the words. So basically, they are completely covered from whatever influence they may have.
The first one that was really shocking to me is when they're all seated down to a family dinner, and one of the daughters says, "Mom, would you pass the telephone?"
Oh, yeah.
And she hands the salt, and she salts her food.
Yeah. The one that I remember, you're going to be asking me at the end if I remember this movie, is like, I remember that vagina is keyboard. To this day, I remember that one. I was just like, when they're going to say the vagina is keyboard? I was like, oh yeah, when they say about licking my keyboard. And the only connection that they have with the outside world is a woman that works with the father, and basically she gets paid for having sex with the son. But that starts a bit more of a chain reaction of events when she starts interacting with the rest of the kids, and she starts not really manipulating. I don't think that she's necessarily evil, but she doesn't buy into this overprotectionist.
Well, I don't think she understands how brainwashed these kids are, because she does take advantage of them, but only because she doesn't know.
Or about like what is the importance of not being affected or not being exposed to the outside world. So it gets to a point. I'm going to be like shortcutting here because there's like a lot of stuff about like the
and
place.
A lot of it's absurdist. It's completely absurdist. So
it's a bit like Buñuel, you know. Is if I think.
Good comparison.
Yeah. For example, they look at the planes, and for explaining the planes, it's almost like they are birds, and one of them may fall. So at the beginning of the movie, one of the daughters says, "Oh, I wish that one falls." And for you, as a human being, that is, you know, like related to the outside world, you say like, oh my god, that's pretty dark from this girl. And then when you think about like what that means for them, it's like, hey, it's like a bird if it were to fall. It's a completely different meaning of the universe. So it's a reflection about like how parents being overprotectionist can just fuck their kids to a level that they would never come back from.
Interesting, because I see the parents as abusers, not as protectionist, but I think that's a valid reading. So, for instance, the children are told that there is a fourth child, that he just lives on the outside of the wall.
That left.
No, because when the cat comes...
The left. Actually left. Even like the son started just throwing stones, and one of the scenes is that he's talking about like, hey, you didn't used to clean the car as good as it was. As good as I did. It's like he used to live there. He was there. And he actually left. We don't know what happened to him.
Alright, fair.
Yeah, and it's like the daughter throws food. It's like definitely that was someone that it was with them. But all of the absurdness like continues, and they want the daughters after engaging the eldest, because I think that she doesn't get a name. It's like the eldest, the middle, and the youngest. Is that she engaged in oral sex with that co-worker
Christina,
of the Christina,
is the prostitute, the security guard.
The security guard, and for actually the trade-off that they have is that she gets 3 movies or 4 movies or whatever. One of them is Rocky, another one is Flashdance,
Yes.
and another one is Jones, because they do that scene in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
So basically, it breaks her. I love like how obvious it is. It's like she broke. She has a VCR, so they play the movies, and then she starts reenacting because her brain cannot comprehend what she sees. So she's like a little kid the first time she goes a movie and is mind blown about like, oh my god, there is a different universe there. It's completely different than what I'm familiar with. She cannot comprehend it. And there, as we're talking about the dance scenes, the dance scene, the favorite, there is also a very hilarious scene here where she's doing like the dance scene for Flashdance while the song is playing like a 2 chords basically on the guitar, or no, a bit more of a solo, a guitar solo in a Spanish guitar, and she's dancing like to Flashdance, like just pointing to the family and just doing like just sexual, like moves. That is hilarious. And then they have this rule about hey, you can only leave the house when you lose your Dogtooth. So at that point, she realizes there is another wall there, but she doesn't realize in a mature way. And as we don't have exposition, is that we are not completely sure what is going on in her brain. But it's like, hey, there is a wall out there. I need to explore it, but I need to still abide by the rules. So she basically just kisses her off for removing the Dogtooth.
So disturbing for me.
And then she hides into the car because the car is supposed to be the only way, the only safe way
to leave the compound. Yeah.
And the movie closes. That is, I had to watch it 3 times. Like that ending is so fucking good. Like the build of the tension about like the father goes the next day to work. And he doesn't realize that the daughter had been hiding after bleeding probably to death in the car, in the trunk. And my memory of the movie was like, in the last second, the trunk opens just a tiny bit for just giving you hope. But it's like, he doesn't want that. And it's like, I asked my boyfriend a moment ago, it's like, hey, any thoughts about this movie? And he mentioned Haneke. And it's like, that is 100% Haneke. Like that torture of the audience. So it's like, you want her to actually just have a chance in the outside world. But it's like, no, it's like, that's going to be the realization of what they have done. They basically drove the daughter to just commit suicide. It's like she bled to death in her car.
Accidental suicide, but
accidental suicide, but it's a bit more about murder. Like the parents basically murder her indirectly.
It's interesting because, I think that final shot you're talking about, there's a yearning or a longing that Haneke and Lanthimos are able to elicit in an audience, and then they are both, well, I would say Michael Haneke is sadistic in not giving it to you, whereas Lanthimos is more like, does it matter if we find out? It's not what I'm trying to say, but I don't think he wants us to suffer like Haneke does. But the experience...
we suffered. You didn't
we
suffer?
did, 100%. But I think Haneke, we've talked about this, he's more sadistic, whereas Yorgos Lanthimos is like, this isn't relevant and I'm telling a story. Pay attention.
Yeah. But for example, you think about like the Flashdance scene where she's dancing. That scene lasts 5 minutes. Over and over, and it's super awkward.
It's super. Everything in the show is awkward, and this film is awkward.
Yeah. And we're talking about Ruben. Oh my god, I forgot to check his name. The guy from the Square.
I was just gonna look him up. I opened my phone because
just
I was
just
like,
go. But it's like I had the feeling that it's the same kind of thing about like, hey, I'm going to be like giving you an awkward scene, and you're going to be like sitting through it because life sometimes you cannot run away from the awkward scene. In this case, anyone would have said that it's like, just stop that shit. Just stop it. But no, the parents are just staring at her while she's dancing non-stop.
Ruben Östlund.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really interesting what your boyfriend said because I agree. But I think the intention behind it is different. But it's still a deeply uncomfortable experience watching this, like every Michael Haneke film.
Yep. Well, he also said that this felt like a... He said it was like a soft Haneke. It's not as violent or, like so raw as Haneke or so sadistic as you were saying, but mixed up with a bit of Kubrick, a bit of Clockwork Orange. And I agree with that part. I thought that it was like a very good commentary from the perspective that Clockwork Orange tries to reflect on the idea of are we inherently good or bad, or are we inherently neutral and society turns into something different, you know? And like in this movie, it's like they try to play it as like, hey, it's society is what turns into something terrible. When he starts hitting Christina with the VCR, it's like, hey, I hope that your kids have terrible influences. Like, dude, you just snap and started hitting your daughter with a tape and this woman with a VCR. It's like, you are the wrong influence.
It's interesting. I meant to research, because he wrote the script, right? He writes all his own scripts. Finally, another director who can write his own scripts and direct. I wanted to dive into his personal life because I feel like there's a lot there where I feel like he resents his parents for overprotecting him, and then he attributes discovering film, in my opinion, for saving his life, and not saving his life, introducing him to a larger world.
So do you think that this is autobiographical?
I don't know, but I hope so, because that's super interesting to me.
That would be fascinating.
I'll research it. I'll follow up next week when we watch... No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you haven't said yet what we're going to watch, so you'll have to surprise me.
Okay.
And now for the audience that they cannot see this, it's like Blake had just gone completely white. It's like, I was about to tell you earlier.
Yeah,
because but it's like, let's see how he actually.
I have two solid options already.
Right, that's great. Yeah. I love this movie. It's not the favorite. It's not as polished as the favorite, but it also has like this avant-garde absurdism that I mentioned Buñuel earlier. It's like the same kind of just roll with it. If you try to make logic out of this, it's that you're going to be suffering. It's like just roll with it. He has a point about what you're seeing in the screen. But I love like the avant-garde kind of stuff, like how he removed like sometimes like the faces or the very like fixed place or a slice of life stuff. Is this important? Is it not? Like the scene when the sister like comes back and just with the knife and just cut the brother. It's like holy shit! It's so well shot that it just makes me think about like. Then he went like more extreme in cinematography or other aspects with The Favorite. But this was the movie that after watching it I was feeling like, this is good. This guy knows what he's doing. It's like the movies may not click or not because he's like very out there, but this guy is good.
I always like to talk about Steve McQueen. You know how much I love him.
Yeah.
The black one, not the white one.
Yeah.
I always go back to Hunger as an early film that may have problems, but goddamn, you can see the promise. Like watching Dogtooth, especially after just watching The Favorite, knowing he's gonna get there, but seeing so much fucking promise. If I had seen this in Cannes, I would have lost my mind. I would have been like, we need to see more from this guy. And we did, and it's almost all great, right? The Alps is the one.
Good.
But The Favorite, the
Lobster is good. Yeah, it's a good movie. The Killing of a Sacred Deer, I haven't watched it yet.
Ooh, now I have 3 options in my mind.
I want to watch it, but it's a bit more horror, no?
I would say it's at an equal level of horror as Dogtooth, and there's some genuine horror in Dogtooth.
There is horror, but also at the same time, the horror comes from you are raising up kids that they're not prepared for this world.
And to see, because they're unprepared, that they're basically like wild cannons that could hurt themselves and hurt anybody because they have not been prepared for life. And that's horrifying, especially when we were talking about how beautiful their home is. Like to have everything so lovely, and then to see these people that cannot function, it's deeply disturbing.
Yeah, it's like a Haneke movie in that sense.
Yeah, I think when we talk later, when we answer the questions, could this have been better? Isabelle Huppert.
Isabelle Huppert, who can be the mother. Who can be the elder.
She can play the older daughter.
She's like 50 or 60, like back then. She's like, she's the eldest. She's even older than the mother. I love that scene. It reminds me a lot when she's saying, like, the mother of the family is like, I'm going to give birth to 2 boys and a dog. I said, the boys He said, I may think about it if you folks behave, if you kids behave, but the dog is going to happen as soon as possible. They don't even know how birth happens.
And they're just these little tiny scenes that...
But that scene, it reminds me a lot of The Lobster. When they say, it's like, well, and you folks are assigned to each other, and if you cannot figure it out how to work, you will get assigned a kid. We have known that tends to work.
That will fix your relationship.
that sentence, it just stick on my brain because it connected like, this is Dogtooth. It's basically Dogtooth, like the absurd logic.
And I can't speak to how the original Greek sounds, but I feel like the writing is so perfect in its scale. It's so disturbing in its minutia and its like broad examination.
Yeah.
So early on, there's this scene where the younger daughter is saying, "I have an idea. Let's play an endurance game. We're gonna put all our fingers in water and see in hot water and see how long we can take it." And they just have this weird argument like, are we using 3 sinks? No, because one of us could cheat, so we have to do it all in the same
But what
sink.
about if someone puts the finger below someone? But what I love...
But it's so compelling, that writing.
Well, because it's like, it's little kids. Little kids would behave like that. They would just talk about something like coming out. But what is different is like when they ask, it's like, how will this game be called? And she cannot come without anything because they don't have any other influence. They don't have like an outside world. They don't have like any kind of
creativity or like critical thinking. Or...
It's like just basic stuff. It's like put your finger below hot water.
And whoever stays the longest gets the most stickers.
Correct. And the other thing that they play, the other game, that is like, hey, I have a new anesthetic. Why don't we try it? That part is like, dude, is that this is beyond anything. Even if your kids, even if you're trying to raise your kids like this, you wouldn't be giving them anesthetic like that.
We recently watched a movie based on a Don DeLillo novel.
Yeah, White Noise.
That stars Greta Gerwig, and it's on Netflix, and it's insane.
And Noah Baumbach directed it.
No. It's
White Noise is directed by Noah Baumbach.
What? How did I forget this? Noah Baumbach is a poet.
He is.
Okay, now I remember. But I don't know if you've read anything by Don DeLillo, but it's
I have the book. I bought the book. I haven't read it
absurdist
yet.
and fucking weird and doesn't make sense, but has a point. And that is this book.
Yep.
Or sorry, that's
This movie,
film.
Dogtooth, yep.
It's weird and doesn't make any sense, but it has a
It
point.
does. It does make sense. That's the part that is disturbing about it.
No. What I'm saying, like the film as a whole project makes sense. Their world that they live in does not make any sense.
Well, what I think that is a change between The Lobster, and Dogtooth is that the world outside the house with those 3 kids, it makes sense. We see the father at work, and it's a regular work. You see co-workers. You don't see everything in Greece, you know. But it's like, hey, there is an outside world that it works by the rules that we know in this world outside of the movie. The Lobster is not like that. The Lobster is like, hey, I'm going to be like taking the absurdism that I presented in Dogtooth, and I'm going to be like making the whole world absurd.
And it's wonderful.
It's good, but also at the same time, the reason why it clicks so strongly, Dogtooth with me, is because I feel it's like, holy shit, they can be parents that they are like homeschooling their kids because they're afraid of what they're going to be learning out there without realizing all of the damage that they're doing to their kids.
But
and it's like driving into the absurd. But it's still like a premise that is valid.
But we have to assume that the parents are more or less normal because they can function normal in the normal world. They know enough to hide what they're doing.
They hit a security guard with a VCR.
Yes, but I'm saying you don't like hold grown-ass adults captive like this and brainwash them without like knowing what you're doing and how to do it and how to
Correct,
separate
because they
them
think
from
that
the
they're
world.
doing the right thing.
Right. But I don't know. I feel like Yorgos Lanthimos is saying something about the danger of the nuclear family unit. I swear to God, I think he's pissed off at his parents.
Well, I think that they're like he's concerned about the idea that is like, hey, you may be coming from a good place, trying to just keep your kids safe, but dude,
You fucked up.
you are fucking it up at a level that they're going to be like killing themselves or worse, killing others too.
There's no shade to my parents at all, but my parents thought they were keeping me safe by raising me in a cult. it wasn't the best choice for me, it turns out, and I'm surprisingly fucked up as an adult.
Yeah.
So I get it. Yeah, no, I was not blown away. That's an exaggeration. This is a good film, not a great film, unlike The Favorite. Do you think this is a great film?
I fucking think that it's a great film. Is that The Favorite is that, as I already knew that it was a great film, I was like, oh yeah, it's as good as I remember, you know. But it's that this one, when I watch it again, it's like, oh my god, I remember everything that I felt that time. This was not about like me discovering good cinema from other places. It's like this is really good, the point that he's trying to make. Like the lack of exposition of any kind. How do you catch up? Is that
he has a point of view. He has a point of view, and his entire oeuvre is cohesive, I admit. Yeah. But no, I mean, this film has...
It's rougher, but it's fucking amazing.
It is rougher, which keeps it from being a great film to me. But I still think it's a really good film. Oh shit, now I don't know how I'm going to score this.
You can score it however.
Oh no, I know I have that ability, I just haven't thought of it.
I'm giving you freedom right now.
Many times my husband is like, order whatever you want, and I'm like...
I was going to do it anyway.
Thank you for giving me permission.
My friend, we mentioned that from time to time. I'm like, you can do that. Of course, I know that I can't do it. I know that you're trying to be nice, but...
No, this was a great pick, so thank me, because this was my pick. And,
cool.
No, I expected to like this film less than I did the first time, and I didn't like it that much the first time. I'm not saying that I thought it wasn't good or bad, I just didn't like the way it made me feel. It was too intense for me at that time in my life, and when she hit herself at the tooth, I was like, nope, I can't do this.
No, there are so many scenes that I feel like, wow. I remember like the scene with the cats. I was like, oh my god. I was like, yeah, of course, they have like a broken logic. They don't know how to think about this. It's like, for them, cats could be like lions. I mean, imagine that you have like a lion in your backpack.
Because the parents tell the kids that cat, the house cat, killed their brother.
Yep.
So of course they think it's dangerous.
Yep. Well, no, they tell them that after the brother kills it.
After the real brother, or the present brother, kills the cat. Yeah.
So, and then they made a story about like, you did well, you deserve more stickers, because they have this ongoing competition. It's so surreal, you know. It's like for just keeping like this, because they never think about, hey, the kids, they may need to be inserted into society in some kind of way. They don't even think it is like for them it's a bit more about like just keeping them here, so they have these stupid games that they play with them, and the reward are stickers, and whoever has more stickers they can decide what they're going to do for fun.
I don't think in your synopsis you mentioned the fact that the father brought his coworker Christina as a prostitute, but then Christina starts bartering objects with the girls to give her head.
Pleasure because he wouldn't give it.
But then after the dad discovers and says Christina can't come back, they're like, okay, brother, you're just going to pick one of your sisters to sleep with. That is deeply disturbing to me.
The ending, what you see is like, hey, the eldest is going to be probably dead in the trunk, and then the other two are just basically, committing incest. Cool, or good.
Which is what the parents wanted.
Yeah, it's a bit more like, hey, but we don't want bad influences for our kids. It's so insane, but also at the same time so poignant.
And like totally makes sense in the real world. Like this is what parents do to their kids all the time.
Yep.
They don't let them prepare for the real world, and then they end up barking at a cat.
Yep. Or worse, who knows?
Or worse.
Like just having such
dead in a trunk, or like you're the reason a prostitute is dead.
Yeah. Or just doing flash mobs.
Well, I think, unless you have anything else,
no,
ready for the questions?
Yeah.
All right, Jose. Would you watch Dogtooth again?
Yes.
I absolutely would.
The thing is, like, when was this released? 2008? 2009?
It was at the 2009 Cannes competition, so I think it probably got released in theaters 2010, 2011.
Not 2011, because I still watched it in Spain.
Okay,
so it was probably
2010.
I didn't watch it again since 2010. It's not an easy movie to watch.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah. It's not an easy movie to watch, but definitely I will watch it again.
Yeah. I would as well. Would you recommend this?
This is a very hard to recommend movie. because it's so absurd, I'm going to go with yes.
What?
But if I would recommend it to my parents, probably not.
We just need to change this question to would Jose recommend it to his parents?
But I'm going to go with yes. It has a lot of sexual, it has like a lot of nudity. It's like we see, it doesn't get to like the Gaspar Noé movie Love. It doesn't get to unsimulated sex.
But we see dick.
Yep. Well,
Sex acts.
Yeah, we see hard dick.
Yeah. And soft dick. I took notes. 10 minutes and 13 seconds.
That reminds me like Edwin with the notes. He's like, these are the dick sidings.
That's how I dive into cinema.
Exactly. He's like, for me, the notes are about how many times I see a dick in the screen.
You're usually way more conservative with this question, so I'm surprised that I don't feel comfortable recommending this to anyone. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm saying I couldn't look someone in the eyes if I had recommended this and they were offended by it. I would be like, you're right to be offended. I get it. I shouldn't have said anything.
No, I would just recommend it with a caveat and not to everyone, but I would say that, hey, if you like things that they are a bit more absurd, they may be violent, they may be they may not make all the sense in the world, but you can see you want to watch something that you feel that it has a reason to exist, that is making a point, but it's not direct in making that point. I think that it's a great movie.
All right. Well, my answer is no. Again, not because it's not good.
No. I know.
I just.
Yeah, you're scared.
Like, if I said,
you're scared about how
to my
people
sister, watch this, and then she calls me crying. Why would you have me watch?
Isn't your brother-in-law the one that is into cinema?
Yeah,
a lot.
He's very into cinema.
Did you talk with him about this movie?
I'm sure I did 10 years or 13 years ago. Holy shit!
Yeah.
But I don't remember. I think he liked it. Will you remember this?
Yes. I mean, I just told you. I remember even that vagina is keyboard.
Yeah, I was actually surprised because we just recorded about The Favorite, and I basically forgot everything about The Favorite. I remembered everything about Dogtooth.
It's something that sticks with you, but that's also like a good reference to Haneke. From the perspective, it's like Haneke, the movies usually don't leave your brain. Yeah. You are stuck with them. It's like Vinny's video. I'm sorry, it's there. Funny guys, it's like nope, it's fine. Yeah?
The piano teacher has just lodged front and center in my brain and has never left.
That is it, yeah.
Okay, is there anything artistic about this?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking yes.
I agree. The guy so clearly has a vision of what he wants to do, and that vision is so supported by me.
Yeah, but the thing is, that is scene with the dance, I'm just thinking about the expression on the parents. Just looking at the daughter when the kid is just playing that solo of guitar, she's dancing like crazy, you know, like in front of them, like just pointing to them, just doing like the sex moves, and how they keep their face. I just feel like, dude, this is incredible.
I'd love to see a blooper reel. For that. Yorgos Lanthimos is just off the side being like, be serious.
Yeah, be fucking serious or I will fucking kill you.
As a clever anecdote, not clever, as an anecdote, Emma Stone tells a story about how she met with him and she was super terrified to meet with him because of his films. She's like, he's the nicest guy. You have no idea that all of this is in his brain.
I think maybe like David Lynch, you know, like he's super nice, super kind. Working with him is a really nice experience for everyone, but it's like, the movie's already fuck up, you know?
And then all of a sudden you're Laura Dern being like, I'm so scared.
Oh, God.
I believe I know your answer to this question. But is it a timeless piece?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the thing is, I think that it's like parents. The thing is that parents want to protect their kids from the outside world. They don't want to let them fly the nest. You know. So from that perspective, is that this is just driving into the absurd. It doesn't matter if it's now, if it's Gen Z parents in the future with whatever we have, like Gen NFT or whatever they're called in the future, is like they're going to have the same feeling about like, I want to protect them and I'm going to miss them when they fly away, so can I do something for preventing that from happening?
Yep. Would you turn this into a TV show?
I could say no, but not because I don't think that there wouldn't be good material on it. I just think that I don't need more. Is that this is a training movie?
My answer is also no, because I feel like the firm stop was so powerful.
Yeah.
And I also think I would be afraid that if it was turned into a TV show, it would be turned into a Lost situation, and we would never. They would try to resolve things and not resolve things. This just needs to be a perfect snapshot in time.
Yep.
Don't drag it out.
This is the kind of stuff that is like you start thinking about what are the gaps about like, hey, they had 3 kids, they took it from a hospital home, the mother disappeared for multiple days. What happened during that time with the other ones? Is that hey, things are going to be like falling apart. They imply that maybe the kids are adopted. But even if you adopt, it's that you need to show the kids. You need to just prove that they are being injected into society. So that there are things that they don't make any kind of sense. But it's just like in a 90-minute movie, it's like it's fine. Just roll with it. It's enough.
Could this have been a short?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I agree. This could have been a short.
But I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with this movie lasting 90 minutes. I just think it's like your point could have been made shorter. It's not that I was like looking at the watch and says like, oh my god, how much time is left? It's just the core is there.
I think I agree with you completely. It's great as it is. But he could have had the same emotional impact in a tight 25 minutes, I think.
25, I think that it would take a bit longer because I think that you had to see Christina a couple of times and then how she barters for trading oral sex with one of the daughters.
Well, regardless, under 60 minutes, it could have been done.
Sure.
Just fine.
Sure.
Do you think this movie could have been better?
I'm going to go with no. Honestly, it's like I don't know exactly what I would change.
I'm gonna go with no as well for the same reason as The Favorite. Like, this isn't a perfect film, but it's so good that there's nothing I can point to be like, this needs to be improved. I don't know what I would say, so no.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
Do we have to score it?
We have to score it.
Dude, now it's my turn to score it first.
Let's hear it. Scale of 1 to 10. 10 is La Ventura, 1 is Brazil.
Oh, sorry, you actually misspelled Fight Club for 10. I'm super torn. I'm going to go with A75.
Ooh.
Because it's really good. I don't think that it's at the level of The Favorite. I think that it's at The Favorite so polished. But it's almost there. It's like I'm almost torn for just giving it another 9. Because it's imperfect, as we say. It's like it's a bit flawed in some aspects, but it's flawed in a different way than The Favorite. The Favorite is a bit more of a, I don't know, like linear narrative kind of thing, more a standard kind of movie. This is so out there, so crazy, and it works so well. The same way that Alps fails so hard. Is that this works so really well?
I don't disagree with your score. I'm going with an 8. I just feel like this needed a little bit more to make it exceptional, but I really liked this movie. I really liked going back to visit it, and I liked it so much more than the first time. I must have been going through something weird in 2010, because this isn't a movie that's too much for me, but I remember it being too much for me in that moment. I was like, no, I can't bring this into my life.
It's about like family dynamics, so if you were having some kind of problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, maybe this resonated in the wrong kind of way. About like,
all right, what are we watching next?
Nope. But you know, it's a good pick. I honestly, after watching these two back to back, it's like I need to watch The Killing of a Sacred Deer, and I think that he has one more
that you haven't seen.
Yeah, because Alps is after Dogtooth.
Yeah, I think there may be one more out there we haven't seen.
Yeah, before Dogtooth.
But I think if we haven't heard that much about it, it might be similar to
the thing is, like, when Dogtooth came out, it's like people already knew it's from Yorgos Lanthimos, the guy that did this crazy thing before. So it was like, hey, he was promising and he solidified. I love these actors, these directors that is like, hey, we have like a queer mentality or something, and it's like we can work it out, we can save it out to just become something incredible. And so that's the reason why I'm like just looking forward. I know that the new movie is going to disappoint me. It's going to be like living up to my personal expectations, but he comes to win from Venice. So...
It won Venice. He won Venice, and Venice is a pretty reliable in terms of like their competition.
But it may be more standard. It may not be as crazy. I mean, if he were to win Cannes, like was it Titanic?
I've never seen it. You always think that I've seen it, and I haven't. I tell you this every time you bring it up. I'm not against watching it. I just haven't done it yet.
Okay, let's just pick it soon. I decided today to watch this, but I think that you will like it. It's a bit of a Cronenberg horror.
Like body horror, or just like
it's a bit of body horror, I guess. It's like Cronenberg, Tarantino, and weird French movie.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Yeah. Things.
So before. Oh, he was a music video director.
Of course he was.
Uranisco Disco. It's a feature like. Oh no, that's a short. Kineta. Kineta's 2005.
4.7. Oh wow.
And Dogtooth was in 2009. And then Alps. Then The Lobster.
Yep. So he doesn't have too much stuff. So I think that Kineta was a bit of this guy, there is some promise here, maybe something comes out, or maybe this fades away completely. And then, I don't know, I still feel like some mind blow in Dogtooth.
Yeah, it's a fantastic film.
Yeah, but it connects to me like a bit more about like, when we talk about Itonia, for example, everything about that I say always this movie is enjoyable to be watched by itself.
Yeah.
But I think that it doesn't cross the boundary for just being something more transcendental. I feel like it's like not Dogtooth become more transcendental.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
It hasn't transcended for me just yet, but it'll get there. I'm confident.
Sure.
After some rewatching.
In 20 years. Let's rewatch it in 20 years, let's say. So what are we watching? That surprised me. Because we usually discuss before the podcast about it, and this time
we did not.
I realized about it when we were at Trader Joe's, and I says like, I'm not going to be mentioning anything, let's see what he says.
Alright, so I have 3 options.
Sure.
I can let you choose between my 3 options. The Killing of Sacred Deer, The Lobster, or I Heart Huckabees. And it's fine if you want to take a break from Yorgos Lanthimos, but just based on this discussion, it's like, maybe we should.
This is a hard one, man.
I know, right? I can't decide. That's why I was like, I'll let him do it.
Yeah. Because things like, I haven't watched the Secret Deer. It's like, now I realize that it's basically the only big one that I'm missing from him, you know? But we also watched Shoot back to back, and this is a very draining director.
Alright, let's take a break from Yorgos Lanthimos. Let's watch I Heart Huckabees.
Sure.
And we can pick up with our retrospective later.
Sure. Yeah, that's it. Yep. Let's go to David Russell. Now I feel a bit conflicted about what I told you about him earlier. But let's watch. Let's watch it. Alright. So, anything else to say about...
Goodbye, Chicago. You're off to London tomorrow. I'm back to the Best Coast. So, it's been fun.
But I will see you soon again.
It's true, you will.
Yep. And to everyone out there, thank you so much for putting up with us. And
get your new vaccine.
Yep.
For COVID.
Yep. And to anything that you want.
Anything.
Just take back
syphilis.
Yep.
Whatever.
Okay. Bye.